You know, they say honesty is the best policy. But have you ever noticed that the honest man so often carries the heaviest burden? The man who refuses to deceive, who insists on living truthfully, frequently suffers in ways the liar never does. Why is that? Because to be honest, truly honest, not just with your words, but with your whole being, is to strip away the masks. And when you take off the masks, the world sees you as you are. And the world doesn't always like what it sees. Society thrives on illusions. We are told what success looks like, what love is supposed to mean, how a respectable life should unfold. And most people go along with it. They nod, they smile, they put on the costume. But the man who chooses honesty cannot do that. He refuses the costume. And so he stands out like a sore thumb. He doesn't play the part, and because of that, he carries the weight of rejection, the weight of being misunderstood. He pays a price most would rather not pay. But here is the paradox. Though he carries the heaviest burden, the honest man is also the freest. Because while others live with the crushing weight of pretense, of lies, of endlessly performing for the approval of others, he does not. He may be cast aside, laughed at, or punished, but deep in his being he carries a lighter load, for he knows that his life is his own, and that freedom is worth more than all the false comforts in the world. Now, I don't mean honesty in the sense of blurting out whatever comes to your mind. That is not honesty that is cruelty disguised as truth. No. Real honesty is something deeper. It is alignment. It is when the inside and the outside are not at war. When the story you tell yourself matches the reality you are living. And when that happens, you become whole. But wholeness, my friends, is not always welcomed in a society that profits from your fragmentation. You see, the liar can adapt. He bends himself to fit into whichever mold is demanded. He can sell the product, play the role, wear the mask, and he may look happy, he may even look successful. But inside, there is a gnawing. For he knows that what he shows the world is not what he truly is, and over time, that eats at a man. That becomes the real burden. But the honest man, though he faces the hostility of the world, escapes that inner torment. The honest man, then, is both cursed and blessed. He is cursed in the eyes of the world because he doesn't bend easily, he doesn't play the game as others do. And so he may lose opportunities, wealth, or recognition. But he is blessed inwardly because his soul is not for sale. His nights are not haunted by falsehood, and that is why his burden is paradoxical. Outwardly it looks heavy, but inwardly it is the lightest of all. He carries truth, and truth itself carries him. But let me ask you, what happens when you lie to yourself long enough? You forget who you are. You lose your reflection. You become like an actor who has played so many parts that he no longer knows his real face. That is the great tragedy of dishonesty. It is not merely that we lie to others, it is that in doing so we lose our own center. And when you lose your center, you wander through life like a ghost, present but not alive. The honest man cannot do that. He refuses to betray himself even if it costs him dearly, and yes, it does cost him. Because honesty reveals the cracks in the world. It shows where society is built on pretenses and illusions. And when you shine a light on those illusions, people don't thank you. They resent you. They push you out. But perhaps that is why so few dare to live this way. It is easier to play along. It is easier to carry the lighter, false burden. Yet, I tell you this, that lighter burden becomes heavier with time. For every lie must be maintained, and every mask must be held in place. And this endless holding, this endless pretending, is exhausting. The liar seems free in the moment, but slowly he becomes a prisoner of his own fabrications, whereas the honest man, who carries the heavy burden from the start, becomes free as time passes. Because his burden doesn't multiply. Truth is simple. It doesn't need to be remembered, it just is. So, in the end, the honest man carries the heaviest burden only in appearance. He may stumble under the rejection of society, he may face loneliness, he may endure hardship. But inwardly he is light, because he is not divided. And that is the secret. To carry a heavy burden outside, but a light heart within that is the strange grace of honesty. And perhaps this is what we must learn, that the weight worth carrying is the one that frees the soul, not the one that binds it. Now, you may wonder, if the honest man carries such a weight, why does life not ease his path? And here is the strange paradox. Life does ease it, but not in the way you expect. Because truth has a rhythm, and when you live by it, you fall into step with the universe. It is as though the world, slowly and silently, begins to manifest around you, not to give you what you want, but to give you what is real. You see, when you lie, you cut yourself off from reality. And if you live in lies long enough, life feels chaotic, random, hostile. But when you live honestly, even when it is painful, you are aligning yourself with the very fabric of being. And then, opportunities come, not because you manipulate them, but because you are open. Manifestation is not bending the world to your will, it is stepping out of the way so the world may bend around truth. The honest man does not sit and chant, "I will manifest riches, I will manifest success." No, that is still desire, still self-deception. Instead, he simply shows up as he is, without masks, without games, and strangely enough, life responds. The right people appear, the right doors open, the right lessons arrive, not always what he wanted, but always what he needed. And this is the secret burden, to accept that life gives you exactly the mirror of your honesty. And here's the extraordinary thing. When you are honest, life may seem harder at first, because lies are quick sugar, but truth is slow nourishment. Yet, as time passes, you notice the current shifting. The world begins to carry you. You don't fight so much. You don't manipulate so much. Instead, you trust. And it is in this trust that true manifestation happens. Life meets you halfway, but only when you stop trying to trick it. The honest man, then, does not always look victorious in the world's eyes. He may stumble, he may lose opportunities that the cunning man seizes, but in losing them, he avoids the trap. For life, you see, is not keeping score the way society does. The score is not money, status, or power. The score is the weight you carry in your soul. And though honesty makes the pack heavier, it also makes the road straighter. You are walking in daylight, not through the crooked shadows. And when you walk in daylight, life itself seems to notice. Not immediately, oh no, truth is patient, sometimes maddeningly so. But as the days stretch into years, you find something remarkable happening. Circumstances begin to shape themselves around your honesty. Not because you forced them, not because you demanded them, but because you are living in tune with the way things actually are. Life responds to honesty in a way it never does to deceit. Slowly, subtly, doors open that would otherwise remain hidden. Here is the subtle connection to what some people call manifestation. But do not mistake me. It is not magic. It is not wishful thinking. It is reality itself, aligning with integrity. When you are honest, you remove friction. You stop wasting energy hiding, pretending, or repairing broken lies. And the energy that once drained you begins to flow into creativity, into openness, into awareness. And in this openness, the right people and events seem to find you, as though the world itself is leaning in your direction. But beware, this is not always comfortable. The honest man may lose friends because many cannot bear such truth. He may lose chances because he refuses to cheat. Yet what he gains is harder to measure, a sense that he belongs in his own skin, that he can breathe deeply without fear of being found out. And here, slowly, life itself seems to step closer, as though saying, "At last, here is one I can trust." For the universe, you see, mirrors the courage you show. Think of it like this. If you want to plant a garden, you must first clear the weeds. Honesty is that clearing. And only when the ground is cleared can the seeds of something new be planted. The dishonest man never clears the soil. He covers the weeds with shiny stones, hoping no one will notice, but the roots remain, choking his growth. The honest man, with his heavier burden, does the painful work of pulling the weeds out. And though his back aches from the labor, the soil of his life is fertile, ready for true creation. And here is where life begins to respond. Because when the ground of your being is clear, when you no longer run from yourself, you begin to notice subtle alignments. People appear who feel like they were waiting for you all along. Opportunities arise that match your sincerity. Not every door opens, but the doors that matter do. And one begins to sense that honesty itself is a magnet. It does not attract everything, it repels much, but it draws what resonates. And in that resonance, one finds a curious freedom, a freedom that dishonesty could never buy. This is why I say the universe whispers back. Not loudly, not with fireworks, but with a quiet affirmation. Yes, this is the path. Yet many people miss it because they are still chasing, still striving, still calculating. They demand instant results, instant manifestations, but the deeper truth is this. When you are honest, you are already living the manifestation. You are embodying the very thing you wish to call forth. And when life sees this integrity, it moves not always quickly, but faithfully, like a tide coming in to meet the shore. The honest man does not pretend he is in control of the universe. He admits his fears, his doubts, his limitations. And in that admission, he finds a strange paradox. The more he reveals his weakness, the stronger he becomes. Because no mask is required, no energy wasted maintaining an image. What a relief, you see, to no longer juggle masks, to no longer edit yourself to please the world. It is exhausting to act the part of someone you are not. The honest man, though carrying the burden of truth, walks with a lighter step. Now, when I say lighter, I don't mean without hardship. No, he may face rejection. He may lose friends who prefer the comfort of illusions. He may even lose opportunities that demand compromise. But over time, the burden shifts. The dishonest man, though he may look free on the surface, becomes entangled in his own lies. He must remember what he said, to whom he said it, and live under the constant anxiety of being exposed. His burden is hidden but relentless. The honest man carries a heavier stone at first, but soon discovers it is a foundation. And here is where the notion of manifestation gently comes in. You see, manifestation is not about bending the world to your will. It is about aligning yourself with reality so profoundly that reality responds to you naturally. The honest man does not manifest by demanding or begging. He manifests by being. His truth becomes his signal, his frequency. And those who are tuned to that frequency hear it. Life is not manipulated, it is harmonized. The burden he carries becomes a beacon, a marker that says, here stands someone real. And reality, recognizing itself, answers back. Consider the man who constantly pretends. He may call it positive thinking, but deep down he is terrified. He tells the world, I am abundant, while fearing poverty. He insists, I am loved, while doubting his worth. His words are not honesty, but incantations against fear. And life, being wiser than our games, responds not to his words, but to his being. So he wonders why nothing works, why his affirmations echo without response. But the honest man who may admit, I am afraid, I am uncertain, I am still learning, stands naked in his truth. And that nakedness is power. So what is the heaviest burden? It is to live without hiding, to tell the truth even when it hurts, to admit your fears instead of covering them up with glitter. And yet, that is also the lightest way to live. Because, in the end, life only responds to reality. And reality is found not in the masks we wear, but in the face beneath them. This is why, slowly but surely, doors open for the honest man that remain closed to others. Not because he forces them, but because the universe itself respects truth. Now, imagine this in the realm of relationships. How many couples destroy themselves because they refuse to say the truth? I am afraid. I feel lonely. I need reassurance. Instead, they pretend. They play games. They carry the burden of dishonesty, and it slowly poisons them. But the honest man, though it may break his heart, speaks plainly, and in speaking plainly, he is free. The burden is carried, yes, but it is not multiplied. Manifestation, as some call it, arises here, because when truth is spoken, real intimacy can grow. And intimacy, you see, is life manifesting itself. Think also of society. Whole nations have fallen because they preferred comfortable lies to difficult truths. Leaders who promised false dreams. People who denied the reality of suffering, who turned away from the facts of life. And in the end, the burden grew too heavy until collapse was inevitable. But the rare individual who dares to face the truth becomes, strangely, a light in the darkness. He may not be rich or famous, but he is real. And reality is the only soil in which true life grows. The honest man, then, is the gardener of existence itself. Perhaps you wonder, is honesty always rewarded? Not in the short term. Sometimes it will cost you. Sometimes you will be rejected, laughed at, or even punished. But in the long rhythm of life, truth is always lighter than lies. Lies demand maintenance. Lies demand energy. Lies demand more lies to protect them. But truth simply is. The honest man has no need to remember which story he told. He has no need to rehearse. He is simply himself. That is why his burden is the heaviest, yet paradoxically, the most freeing. For he stands where life itself stands. And here is the final mystery. The burden you carry becomes your teacher. When you walk with truth, even when it cuts, you learn to trust the universe. You learn that life bends toward reality, not fantasy. You learn that what you fear, exposure, rejection, loss, is not the end, but the beginning of something new. The honest man becomes like a river, sometimes crashing against rocks, but always moving, always real. His burden becomes his flow. His flow becomes his strength. And his strength becomes the very thing that allows him to manifest a life of depth and meaning. So let me ask you this. Are you willing to carry the weight of honesty? Are you willing to admit to yourself the truths you avoid? Are you willing to show them to others, even if it costs you? Because if you are, you will find that the universe, though it may test you, will also support you. It is not cruel. It is precise. It echoes what you are. And if you are honest, then even when storms rage, you are grounded. Your burden is not your punishment. It is your initiation into freedom. That is the paradox. You see, the dishonest man lives a smaller life. He hides behind shadows. He avoids conflict. He seeks comfort, but never finds rest. He runs from himself, and in running, he becomes lost. But the honest man, though he feels the full weight of life, walks steadily. He may stumble, he may fall, but he does not lose himself. His burden, instead of breaking him, becomes his anchor. And in this anchor, others find security. Because deep down, all people crave someone real. And when they find such a person, they cling not to the mask, but to the truth. So, my friends, honesty is not the easy road. It is not glamorous. It is not always applauded. But it is the only road that leads to freedom. To be honest is to be alive. To be honest is to participate in reality without disguise. To be honest is to bear the heaviest stone. Yes, but that stone is also the cornerstone of your being. Without it, you are a house built on sand, collapsing at the first wave. With it, you are a cathedral open, steady, unshaken. And though the weight is great, the beauty is greater still. He discovers that it is not truly a burden at all. It is the price of freedom. It is the cost of authenticity. It is the weight that transforms into wings. And so, when you wonder why your life feels heavy, ask yourself, am I carrying truth or am I carrying lies? If it is truth, then rejoice, for you are free. If it is lies, then beware, for they will consume you. Choose honesty, my friends. Carry the burden, for in the end, it is the only thing that will set you free.